Hello, my friends. Apologies in advance for the sound. I've got my air purifiers flowing here because we're still up in here in LA, and I have yet to invest in a lapel microphone, but I will be getting one for a Star Wars celebration approaching in almost 2 months. Today, as of now, is February 11th. The Eagles just won the freaking Super Bowl. Feeling good, feeling motivated, feeling inspired. And I had told you guys, I've been hinting at the fact that I'm not going to be cosplaying this year at Star Wars Celebration. I've never been to a Star Wars Celebration. I was gonna go, as many of you guys know, in 2022, but I actually got cast in a film project, the one that's on my homepage actually of this channel, that was filming the exact same dates, that exact same week. So I am on borrowed time for my finally Star Wars Celebration experience. So we have just over 2 months here. We bought our flight tickets, we're locked in, ready to go, but we just need to get our wardrobe, our merch in order. So I think I had expressed to you guys that I'm not going to be cosplaying because that's so expensive. That's just so much money, and I don't have technical skill in that regard when it comes to like fabrication or 3D printing. These people are epically talented when it comes to their cosplays. So I was like, after I did that sleep token jacket that I showed you guys when I went to Prague for their concert, and I learned how much easier it is than I thought it was going to be, I was like, why don't I do some of those for Star Wars Celebration, and I'll make some jackets to wear for both me and Tom. Tom is totally on board now, but instead of cosplaying, I'm gonna be making some artwork, some wearable art to represent on the back of some jacket designs. And so I had alluded to that with you guys, that instead of cosplaying, we were gonna be jacketing, and that I was probably gonna document and vlog some of the process. So here we are. Here's me remembering that I should maybe film an intro before I get started, because I'm about to get cracking on my first jacket, my first look, which is going to be Ahsoka Tano based. At the moment, I have a game plan to create at least 2 jackets for both me and Tom. Depending, I might make a third for each of us if I can actually whip these out in a reasonable amount of time. That sleep token jacket that I did basically took like 2 days of work designing it and then actually executing it. Here I am, I already realized, okay, this is actually easier than I thought it would be. So I'm just going full pedal to the metal, maybe a little bit in over my head, but the jacket I'm about to start is going to be Ahsoka Tano centric, and it's the most ambitious design I could have possibly thought of. Other designs I want to do, I already claimed Darth Maul, y'all know, especially because I have a signing with Sam Witwer. I'm going to actually die. If you know, you know, but Darth Maul is my man. He is my ride or die, my fave. So that's going to be my other design. I already claimed that one. Sorry, Tom. So we're gonna cover a lot of ground here, represent all of our faves, our fave characters and whatnot, but I'm perhaps starting with the most ambitious design. So I'll give you guys the rundown. But for the other jackets that I have done up to this point, they were like darker denim colors, and so I had to use white paint as a primer in order to create this opaque, surface to work on. Otherwise the colors just do not show up. You need a white base essentially, but I'm like, okay, white jacket, maybe I can cut time, maybe I can just go right in with the paint. So I'm gonna test that out to see if that's the case, which would actually really make my life a lot easier. So maybe that's why I was like, let me just send it and make this crazy design that I don't even know if I'm cut out to execute, because at least I don't have to spend my time putting down a white base layer of paint. So without further ado, I'll show you the design so you can see what we're rocking with. All right, apologies in advance. Ignore the temporary Blair Witch shaky cam action that's about to be happening here, but here is the jacket. So we had this main centerpiece here, which after further realization, when I was buying the jacket originally, I was like, that should be enough space, and then I'll just do something simple on either border, either other side of it. But then I got carried away, as you can see. So we're gonna start over here. This is going to be Rex. It's a little hard to tell over here, and then we're gonna just do some like world between worlds color gradient action probably going on in the background here. The main panel is of course Ahsoka. That's how it's supposed to look, and there it is transferred. But we got Clone Wars inspired teenage Ahsoka, and then Morai up here, and then we have again another world between worlds kind of portal with the wolves. Now that I'm doing this, y'all, I'm like, okay, is this too intricate? Is this more than I can handle? And then over here, it doesn't really look like him right now, but we are going to have Clone Wars inspired Anakin. Originally I thought maybe doing like Anakin and Kenobi, you know, the OG Clone Wars trio and whatnot, but then I decided on Rex because he's a super pivotal part of Ahsoka's story as well. So here it is now. Take it in before I potentially maybe botch this after adding color, but we will see. I think I want to just get right into it with Ahsoka because that's what I'm most excited about. Not that I'm not excited about Rex or Anakin, but I feel like if I can get her done, I think I want to just get started right out of the gate with Ahsoka just to prove to myself that I can do it. And then the other two panels should be easier after that. So start with the most difficult and work our way from there. Alrighty, workstation is set. Yes, I freaking work on the floor, y'all, which is not great for my back. In hindsight, I definitely am gonna look like freaking Quasimodo if I keep this up. It's really not good. It's like genuinely not good, but I would advocate against it if you value your neck and your shoulders. But it works for me. So here we go. We were of course we got started with Ahsoka and her face and her portrait. I was feeling pretty good. I was getting back into the swing of things. I hadn't done any jacket painting in a hot minute, but I was like so shocked, y'all, with how this turned out. I'm really proud of myself, actually. I'm gonna toot my own horn. I didn't think it was gonna go this well, but I also didn't think it was gonna be this time consuming. So yes, this had already taken up, by this point, maybe this was day 2. Alright, current status update. I think some of the hardest parts are over, y'all, because I decided midway through when I finished Ahsoka's portrait that I wanted to cut some of the burden on myself, cut some of my work in half and simplify the designs here, which are already simpler and smaller for both Rex and Anakin on her flanks there, but I think I'm going to do them in a similar style to the Rebels crew and the wall art of the Mortis gods to enter the portal into the world between worlds. I'll attach some like reference images of what I'm talking about, but that's what I think I'm gonna do. It's kind of like that mosaic look. It's not too in-depth with like this amount of detail and all that shading and whatnot. So I think that's gonna make my life easier. I still gotta do more eye up in here. This is like 2 days worth of progress here, so that's why I'm like, okay, I need to start cutting some of my losses. This is taking longer than I thought it would because I just was focusing on Ahsoka for the longest time, which I'm glad I started with her. I was like, am I in the wrong for jumping to the part that I'm most excited about? But no, because I decided halfway through that I would take my time, dedicate my energy to the detail in her design, and then I was gonna simplify Rex and Anakin to make my life a little bit easier. So I'll keep y'all posted. We got to Morai, which I had a lot of fun with because I don't paint animals very often. I should do it more because it's a nice break from, you know, figure painting, figure drawing. I got to just have fun. The wings were a really good time. And I really just played around with the colors for this one. I don't know why, because I don't usually use color in my work very often. That's unusual for me, especially the color scheme that we used here with this one, y'all. I went in, of course, I couldn't resist. That gold paint is my freaking kryptonite, y'all. I found a way, any chance I could to sneak it in here, I found a way. So I of course did it to just kind of outline, define, you know, Ahsoka and Morai against the backdrop and whatnot, and I think it was a much needed step. Moving on, as you can see, we still have Rex to do, but there's a little bit more of the kind of celestial world between worlds, this kind of abstract portals, I guess you could say, that we were doing with the background. A little less finished over there on Anakin's side at this point, but painting Rex was really fun. Mentally, at this point, I decided that Rex and Anakin were not going to be anywhere near the same level of detail as Ahsoka, so this was a good time. It was just a little more laid back, trying to mimic this kind of like two-dimensional mosaic style for the world between worlds, but I was cooking at this point, y'all. We were in the home stretch. At this point, it had taken me, this was like a full week's worth of work, which I wasn't expecting. That was not intentional, but it was worth it. I was really, really happy with how this turned out. Here is our finished product, and this definitely took me way longer than it should have. I definitely made this way more complicated. I definitely made this way more complicated than I originally intended. I got a little bit carried away, but as I originally suspected, it was so much easier to paint straight onto the white jacket. It cut out so much of the time that it has taken me with the previous jackets that I've painted, where you need to put down like primer, essentially like gesso, like you would on regular canvas if you were just painting normally and not on fabric, but it cuts out so much of the time. And so I think I just felt a lot of the creative freedom and ability to just go ham. I'm so freaking happy with how this turned out. As you can see, I kept Ahsoka, you know, her portrait being the more detailed of the three in the triptych here. I wanted Rex and Anakin on her flanks to kind of mimic, as I showed you guys in my reference photo, the kind of portals with the portraits of the Mortis gods, the father, the daughter, the son. Just kept it a simple contour outline, and I went a little maybe overboard with the gold paint, but I wanted it to have this celestial, you know, kind of world between worlds, magical feel to it. I'm just pleased in general that it was so much easier. It's gotten easier every single time I've done these on one of these jackets. Yes, there's definitely challenges in the paint and just the surface in general. It's not like painting on a regular canvas, which is much softer, not as porous, you know. It definitely still is challenging. So this, you know, I've been working on for over a week, and that's me working all day, every day, like for several hours a day. So at this rate, it's already almost end of February. So I don't think I can keep up that pace if I want to make 3 more. 1 more for myself and Tom, at least 3 more. Our goal was originally to have a jacket for each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of celebration. At this rate, I'm going to be working overtime. So I'm going to simplify the other designs for sure going forward. So perhaps it's best that I got this out of my system. I started with the most hardcore. I started full pedal to the metal with Ahsoka here, and I can dial it back now for the other ones. I'm not going to make them anywhere near as complicated or, you know, detailed as this. But as I said, I think I just realized I had the capability to go a little bit overboard because it was so much easier to work directly onto the white surface of the jacket. It saved so much time, and so it really just felt like painting, you know, normally not on, I forgot quite often, frankly, that I was not working on a normal canvas, that I was working on the back of a jacket here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing some of the progress. I'll of course get some footage and clips of me wearing it. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm being a little premature here because I just finished this moments ago, and it's been drying, of course. Like this center panel with Ahsoka has been drying for like a week at this point, so it's mostly dry. But these side panels here with Rex and Anakin are definitely still a little bit wet, so I'm trying to be careful. But I just wanted to show you guys. I'm so happy for it to be done, and now I have 3 more to go. So maybe I can only churn out like one a piece for each of us. Celebration is slowly but rapidly approaching, so I will probably be doing one for Tom next, so stay tuned to see a men's design. But until then, thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little documentation in the countdown to celebration. I'll catch you guys. I'll definitely make similar videos and shorts. I'm gonna go crazy and milk this for all the content I possibly can because I just spent the past week of my life painting this, but I'll definitely make similar videos for the next few pieces. But until then, hope you guys are doing so well as always. May the force be with you. Can't wait to hopefully see some of you guys at celebration. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Bye guys.